Hey there, hey, it's Elysian A, and welcome back or welcome to my channel. I just have one question for you. And that question is, what kind of friend are you? Let's talk about it. So, saints and friends, I have been reading through the book of Job, and this isn't my first time reading through Job, but every time I read through Job, I'm like, what's really going on? Okay, I just need to know. Because Job, you need to get some better friends. Like, you need to get some better friends. So, if you are unfamiliar with the story of Job, Job is a servant of God, okay? He is very faithful and he loves him some Jehovah, okay? And so, the adversary goes to God and is like, I bet you I can get him to curse you. And God is like, I bet you won't. And the adversary's like, but I only can't because you have a hedge of protection around him. Like, that's the only reason he loves you so much is because you won't let me touch him. And God is like, I bet. And removes the hedge of protection. And then the adversary goes after Job and kills his kids, kills his livestock, burns everything up, and puts a bunch of lesions and stuff all over his body. Like, he just afflicts Job to the utmost. Okay, like, it's a lot. Okay, it's a lot. And the average person would be like, yeah, I don't think I could do all of that, right? But Job stays steadfast, and he does not curse God. Now, I want to address something, because every time I have heard this sermon preached, every time I have heard this book taught, the teacher or preacher has made it seem like Job just did not say a mumbling word. He was like Jesus. He just took it like a man. He didn't complain. He did that. And when I read it, I'm like, no, Job was complaining a whole lot. He complained a whole lot. Okay. He just didn't curse God. Now there's a difference. There's a difference between saying woe is me and cursing God. There is a big difference. Okay. Job was definitely saying woe is me. Job was definitely like, I have been faithful. I have been just, I don't understand why this is happening to me. This sucks. Okay. He was not denying that his situation was for the birds. Okay. But anyway, we get back into it, and his friends come and visit him. They come and visit him. And usually what you would think is that they would visit and be like, oh man, bro, it's going to be all right. You're going to be good. You're going to come out of this. You don't even worry about it. Don't sweat the small stuff. It's going to be cool. But they didn't do any of that. They straight up was like, all right, Joe, what'd you do? You sinned, didn't you? You had to have sinned, because there's no way God would allow this much stuff to happen to you if you were not a raging sinner. Like, you had to have fallen so far from the grace of God for him to be doing this to you. Like, and Job is like, yo, no, like, really, I didn't do anything. Like, I promise I didn't do anything. And his friends were like, you're lying. You're lying. And this is why you are in the situation you're in. Like, you brought this upon yourself. So until you tell the truth, until you come to terms with the fact that this is your fault, it's going to continue and it's just going to get worse. And Job is like, and as the reader, right, because obviously we have more insight, more knowledge than he does at the time, because he's just going through it. But we know, we're privy to the conversation between Satan and God. We're privy to the fact that Job didn't do anything. We know this. But it got me to thinking, what if I didn't know that? Right? Like, I don't know what everybody in my life is going through. So if something horrible were to happen to one of my friends or one of my family members, would my initial thought, or would any of the thoughts that come to my mind, be similar to the friends of Job? Like, if they really got that bad, would I still be like, oh no, they're good? Or would I be like, yo, they had to have done something. Like, this just ain't adding up. Now, here's the difference though between thinking the thought and saying the thought. Because one could think the thought, but when you go to the person and you discourage them, like, they don't need that. Like, he was already at his lowest. He lost everything. His kids were killed. Like, he's at his absolute lowest. Why would these people go and tell him anything to make him feel lower? But that is a trick of the enemy, right? That just goes to show that the enemy can use even your friends to get you in a place to give up on God, to curse God, to turn away from God, right? And the thing is, I think his friends meant well for the sake of defending the faith, defending God. But in doing so, they beat him down to a pulp, right? And I think that so often happens even in our personal lives, right? If someone comes to you and expresses that the church has hurt them, more often than not, we are more inclined to defend the church. We are more inclined to defend our pastor. We are more inclined to defend the leaders of the church, right? But sometimes you just gotta give them a hug. You know, you gotta hug it out, like Mirabelle said to Isabella in Encanto. You just need to hug it out, right? And the reason why I say that is because I think that we have this mindset that, we have to go from one extreme. We have to be on one extreme or the other, right? If we're not downright just disagreeing, then we are wholly agreeing. But that's not always the case. If they were to approach Job with a compassionate heart, it didn't lessen their faith for Christ, for God, right? They could have easily had compassion for Job and still believed in the God that they serve. But they went to the other extreme and said, well, to believe in the God that I serve, I have to completely disagree with the man of God who is going through. Right? And when it comes to like defending the church over people, it's like, well, I don't want to gossip and I don't want to feed into what they are feeling. So I just have to defend the church. No. Like, I have, not church related, not whatever, I have absolutely disagreed with someone. And they knew I disagreed with them, and I was still able to be compassionate for their situation. Not saying that I'm perfect by any means, because I have also been in a situation where I've disagreed with someone and I let them know I disagree with you wholeheartedly, right? Like, there are times and seasons where these things, they happen. But I have seen in situations where I may not have fully agreed with them, but I still cared, where they still were able to come around and they still were able to, come to the light, if you will. But they were able to say, you know what, thank you for just listening. Oh, what a concept. To just listen when someone is going through, to not always have an answer, to not always have a solution, to not always have but what did you do? Like, sometimes you just gotta sit there. And even if they sound crazy, sometimes you just gotta sit there. You gotta bite your tongue and you gotta sit there. Job's friends, they needed to shut up. I mean, they went back and forth. And Job said time and time again, I didn't do anything. And they were like, you're full of crap. You absolutely had to have done something, because this wouldn't be happening to you if you didn't do anything. And that's just not, it's not fair. And it's not Christ-like. Right? We don't always have to give even if Job did do something, even if he did do something, it doesn't matter. Right? It's not our business. That's between them and God. That is between him and God. Now, if they come to you for advice, then you can give an answer. If they ask you for your opinion, you can give your opinion. But sometimes they just need the compassion. They just need the hug. They just need the love of God to shine upon them. In this case, Job did not go to his friends. His friends came to him. So it's like, how dare you come into my house and condemn me? You know? And you're supposed to be my friend. You're supposed to be my friends. And you know what I've been through. You know what's happened. You know who I've lost. And instead of just showing me love, you are beating me up. So again, I ask, what kind of friend are you? What kind of friend am I? What kind of friends are we? Are we encouraging? Are we uplifting? Or are we tearing down and calling it defending the faith? It's not synonymous. Anyway, this is a short video this go around, but I just wanted to talk about that. Comment down below your thoughts, your comments, your questions. Go ahead and leave a like if you like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more, and ring that notification bell to be notified every time I post. I love you, and Jesus loves you so much more. And remember, you will never overcome that which is hidden, and you will not conquer what you refuse to confront. Let's break some chains, y'all.